And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to check out a pure negotiation game called Article 27 from Stronghold Games. Now if you like negotiation, you're going to want to stay tuned because this is like you're acting as a member of the UN Security Council representing a country. And you're trying to bribe people to get influence. Bribe here, backroom deals here. Sound cool? Let's check it out. At the beginning of Article 27, you get to pick which UN country you get to represent during the game. And you can choose from China, or France, or Germany, or Russia, or United Kingdom, or the United States. And once you've selected a country, you then get to pick randomly and get a secret agenda. This is a secret agenda that you're going to be pushing the whole game for bonus points at the end. And with the dollar sign, it could be wealth. With the top hat, it could be prestige. With the scales, it could be justice. With the peace sign, obviously, it's peace. With the light bulb, it's innovation. And with the fist, it's power. So at the beginning of the game, you have a country, you have a secret agenda, and now let's see how it's played. Before each round starts, every country is going to draw 5 random issues. Now let's look at the 5 different issues. The blue one with the dove is peacekeeping. The green one is trade sanctions. The black one is diplomatic sanctions. The yellow one is humanitarian concerns. And the red one's nuclear non-proliferation. Now if you don't remember the names of the issues, that's okay. The rules actually state that you could just use the color to delineate between the difference of them. Now, so every player is going to be able to draw 5 random tokens at the beginning of each round. And so there's a bag that goes around, and each person takes 1 token at a time and places it down from left to right behind his shield. And as you notice in the shield, the positive points are on the left side and the negative points are on the right side. And so in this case, being Germany, he has 2 black issues this round that are positive points. In this case, if the black issue actually gets approved, and on the table, it's in there for discussion, gets approved, he's going to end up getting 6 points for +5 and +1. Same for the red. If the red issue gets going and it gets approved, he's going to get 3 points. But notice he has 2 blue issues, or the blue issue, that's both in -4 and -2. So if the blue issue gets passed this round, he's going to get -6 points. Also notice that the secret agenda is the money, or the prestige or money there. So let's take a look at how a round is played. The Secretary General starts with the person who's made the last public speech. In this case, it's the United States, and you can see up there they have their very own gavel, which is one of the coolest pieces of components I've ever seen in a game. And over here we have those issues. Now remember, those are the different colors of the issues. And in the first round, what we simply do, this is a 4-player game, so there's only 4 for each. There's essentially 4 rounds per game. Each round only takes, it's about 6 minutes per round. So for 4 people, it's about a 25-minute game. Now everybody's gotten their tokens. Each color, the closest one to the table, is going to get flipped over, and they're going to get placed on the table. Notice they're on the table out here. Also notice there's 5 influence points here. We'll talk about those later. So now what we see here, there's the blue issues here. We have blue, green, black, red, and yellow. And each of these also have one of the secret agendas on there. So what happens is, to start the round, the Secretary General hits the gavel and you start the 5-minute timer. Now keep in mind, there's also an app for your phones. If you have a smartphone, look up the Stronghold Games app, and there's actually a timer you can use there, which I recommend because it's really nice to use. So to start the round, they'll hit the gavel, the Secretary General will, for the round, and they'll just place some of the issues that they want on the table. So maybe they want blue, maybe they want black, and maybe that's it for now. So they will just start the round and people start bribing each other. And so the object of the game is to get the most influence points at the end of the game, but in order to manipulate which issues are going to get on the table and hopefully get approved, you basically have to bribe. So let's take the case of Germany here. We again see that black is a very important issue to them. He's going to get 6 points, and right now black is inside, is in the talks here. This is up for proposal. So he likes that because if this goes to and gets passed, he's going to get 6 points. However, the blue issue is also on the table, and if that gets passed, he's going to get -6 points. So it's a wash. The black's going to get him 6, this is going to get him -6, so he's not really doing a whole lot here. He really needs to get blue off the table. Also notice that his secret agenda is the money. And so he really wants to get this on there. Because at the end of the game, you see up here you have these prestige, all the different prestige, and you see points from left to right. At the end of the game, for every time your hidden agenda was successfully approved, you get to get more points from left to right. So if by the end of the game you get 4 of yours passed, then you're going to get 10 points. So you can score points at the end of the game by getting your secret agendas on the board here and passed. So you want your secret agendas on there. You want them to get passed. You want the ones passed that are a lot of points, and you want the ones not passed or not on the table for the ones that aren't. So Germany might start bidding here, and they might say, okay, look at this. I need blue off the table. Blue is going to kill me. I will bribe you, Secretary General. I am going to bribe you 1 influence to take blue off the table. And they will take one of the markers of his face and 1 influence point, and they will place it on the shield there, saying, I am going to pay you 1 to take that off the table. So let's take a look at the player mats a little closer, because, you know, this row here with all the green check marks basically is saying if you put a bribe there on hers, it's going to say, I want you to put this on for negotiation for voting, and this is, I want you to take it off. Okay, so I want you to take it on or off, and then here's for voting. If you bribe them and you bribe them to say, I want you to pass this vote, this would go here. To veto or to cancel the vote, you would go here. To here's just to say, I'm going to abstain or not vote. And then here's for question marks for things that are too custom to put in any of those boxes. So now we've gotten blue off the table, but maybe France over there wants blue on the table. Maybe this is his secret agenda, or maybe he's getting 5 or more points for it. And France says, hey, look, he gave you, I'll give you 3 if you put blue back on the table. And she might go, okay. So she's going to take his bribe for 3, and she gives me my bribe back, and she puts it back on. And I'm like, oh, now I'm mad at France, and I'm like, oh, I really need blue off. I need it off. And I'll say, hey, Russia, what do you think about blue? He's like, it's not too bad. I'd rather it off, but I'm not going to kill myself to get it off. And I'd say, okay, how about I give 3 and you give, 2? And he's like, well, how about 1? So then, I give 3 and Russia gives 1, and the Secretary General is happy because she's getting even more money than she would have from France. So yeah, so Russia and I bribe her with 5, she gives her bribe back to France, and now it's back off the table. And you have this back and forth battle all the time, and it's interesting how you got to work together with other people to figure out what's the best thing for everybody and how can we make it all work. Now, we see the red issue here, and this is my secret agenda. It's the money symbol. So I'm going to try to get this on the table, and so I'm going to bribe her some more. Hey, I'll give you 2 if you'll put red on the table. And she might go, okay, or she might go, no, absolutely not. So she says yes, and she puts it on the table, and then other people might argue now that that's on the table, and again, it keeps going. Now, this only goes for 5 minutes. There's a 5-minute timer, and either at the end of the 5 minutes or any time, they can hit the Secretary General can hit the gavel, and that ends the round. Now, after it's done, we now know that black and red are going to be what's voted on. And so everybody's going to take a token. There's 2 tokens. There's a pass and a fail. They can either pass it, they can fail it or veto, or they can pretend like they have a token in their hand and vote with nothing. And so they're going to take this their token, and everyone's going to put it out together at the same time, and they're all going to show their token. If you have a majority that passes, then this proposal has passed. In a 4-player game, obviously you need 3 passes. Now, if at any point anybody vetoes with an X, no matter how many passes they were, this does not pass. Now, there's a trade-off to this. If you veto, you have to pay 5 influence to veto. But maybe the thing on here was so bad for you that it was going to hurt you more than 5 points anyway, so it might be worth it. So if it passes, let's just assume it passes, this 5 points goes to the Secretary General for doing a passed proposal. So they're also motivated to have these pass. So what also happens is the ones that passed get moved up, face up, to its corresponding secret agenda. The ones that did not, if anything failed or if nothing got on the table, those ones go on their symbols and they get flipped over the other way. Here's the hat. The hat did not get it, so it gets flipped over and it starts from right to left. Because at the end of the game, however far along your secret agenda is that's how many points you're going to get. So as you can see, the Justice here has already got two of theirs tokens for that secret agenda that did not get passed. So the most points they're ever going to be able to get for this secret agenda is 6, where for the money, the most he can still get is 15. So that's how the secret agenda is scored. So again, she would get this 5 because she's motivated to pass it. So what happens if someone vetoes? If someone vetoes, again, they pay 5 and nothing passes. So if they paid 5 and nothing passed, then this would have not passed and this would have not passed. Nothing passes and the Secretary General doesn't get her 5. But obviously the trade-off is this guy, let's say Russia vetoed, he had to pay 5, but he screwed it up for everybody. So veto is very powerful, and actually, since Article 27 is the veto, it makes sense that a lot of times you're always threatening, if something's not good to you, you're threatening to veto and waiting for people to bribe you to not veto. You know what, I'm going to veto. Well, if you pay me 5, I won't. And that's when you would bribe them to vote. So essentially, that's the end of one round. And if it didn't pass, again, you would just put the tokens back in the bag. Everybody would draw new tokens. The next person in line would be the Secretary General. If they did pass, let's say that these 3 did pass as original. Essentially, you lift up your shield or help look at your neighbors. You want to make sure your secret agenda is not showing, and you would help. They would confirm your points. So in this case, black, blue, and red passed. So anywhere I have a black, blue, and red, it's going to score that amount of points. So black scored me 5 and 1, that's 6. Red scored me 3, that's 9. And in this case, if blue had passed, I would get -6. So I'd end up with 3. So essentially, that's how you score the round, is whatever's passed. Anything that's passed, those tokens that are that color, you get that points. So sometimes you're going to get lots of pluses, sometimes lots of minuses. And then these tokens go back in the bag. The next person starts, you put your shield back down, and you start all over by drawing the tokens and starting to vote. And once everybody in a 4-player game has been the Secretary General once, it's over and you count up all your points, influence points that you have behind your screen, plus you get points for your final secret agenda, which we've talked about, and everybody gets to be it once. In the 3-player game, everybody actually gets to play it twice, but other than that, it's once. And so that's it. In a 4-player game, you play 1 round, each person being the Secretary General, and whoever has the most influence points at the end of the game between the points behind the shield and their secret agenda points is the winner. All right, well, that's Article 27. All right, I'm going to blow it. I love this game. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Of course, I do like negotiation, and I do love negotiation in games. And I love how they pretty much took like everything else out except negotiation. It is pure negotiation. Too many times I'm playing games where I like negotiation, but then there's too many other things going on and it takes too long to get to the real negotiations. This cuts everything out. Just negotiation. It is great. We played this with a bunch of different test groups and it went over hugely. Everybody loved it. So if you like negotiation games, you're going to want this. It's really cool to bounce ideas off people, to try to figure out, hey, what are we going to do? What do you want? Do you want blue off? Do you want blue on? And even if it's something that you wanted anyway, it's cool to sit back and listen to the other people fight about it and pay money to get things in there that you wanted anyway, you'd be willing to pay for. But you're just going to sit back, let them go, see how things go, and then jump in if you want. It's really cool how you can, it's called Article 27, the whole veto thing. It almost should be called I will veto, because the whole time you are threatening. You're like, oh, if red's in, I'm vetoing. I'm vetoing. You better take that out. And it's like you flip the tables on the Secretary General. The Secretary General. It's like you totally turn the tables and you're like, I'm going to veto. You're going to get no points. You better include this one. And it's really cool to watch side deals happen. And not only negotiating with the Secretary General, but then negotiating with the other people. It's brilliant. The other great thing is it plays so fast. It's like in a 4-player game, it's over in like 25 minutes. So you can play this game multiple times. Now, if you don't like negotiation games, you should probably still give this one a try because it might give you a different feeling. The cool thing is even though it's pure negotiation, there's no backstabbing. There's no like really killing each other. You know, you can accept a bribe, then you might not do it, but you don't get the rewards of the bribe if you don't follow through. So the game's really set up that you pretty much are doing what you say you're gonna doing, but it's just, you know, you're totally just bribing your butt off. So I love that it's non-combative. I love that you have to pretty much do what you say you're gonna do, or most of the time the game's set up so that you do that. The components are great. The gavel's amazing. A gavel in a game, are you serious? That thing is the best. There's not too many good things I could say. It's over. It's great. You gotta stop and get this game. I love it. Everybody here loved it. Even if you don't like negotiations, check it out, because I bet you your friends that like it are gonna make this game so fun for you that even if you're not that great at negotiating, you're gonna have fun watching other people, and then maybe you'll actually learn a thing or two about it. Gotta check it out.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.